This is Brock with Straight Line Delivery, and I'm making a video today to give you a tip that if you follow it, you'll make an extra $10,000 a year. I guarantee you will make the extra 10 grand a year. You don't have to drive any more miles. It'll add convenience to your life, and it'll make you $10,000 a year. The only downside is you have to talk on the phone for 2 minutes a day. Here's what I mean by that. When you get a load on your truck, okay, let's say it's Monday, and this load is set to deliver on Tuesday. You've got so many people possibly involved in this piece of freight. You've got a broker, you've got a shipper, you've got the receiver, you've got your dispatch, and you've got you. That's a whole lot of miscommunication that can happen. So what I always tell people is talk to people that are on the ground. Don't take the word from the broker, the shipper, the receiver, the dispatcher. Don't take anybody's word for it. Talk to the person who's going to unload you, ideally. So that means when you call to a place, the person that answers the phone may be in the front office, and they'll give you their hours. Their hours may be from 9 to 5, but shipping and receiving is from 7 to 3. The closer you can get to the person who's actually doing the unloading, the better off you're going to be, the more accurate the information that you're going to get is going to be. A couple of things that you're going to benefit from right away, I can tell you, is if you make your phone calls to the receiver, you find out the name of who's going to be unloading you, ideally. When you go to a great big place like a steel mill, maybe not. They're pretty much 24/7 operation. It may not matter as much, but the smaller the organization, the more apt you are to talk to somebody that's high up, possibly even the owner of a company, and that's what you really want. This is where the extra money comes in. Because when you talk to somebody, you can say, hey, this is Brock from Straight Line Delivery. It says here that your hours are from 7 to 3. Is that right? And they'll say, yeah, 7 to 3, generally speaking. Then you can kind of start to find out whether they are there later. Sometimes they cut out early. If it's a small shop, a lot of times, especially near holidays or near Fridays, they don't have anything coming that they know of. So they go, you know what, it's 2 o'clock, let's leave, instead of staying until 3. If you didn't make the phone call, you won't know that. You might lose out on dropping off a piece of freight and have to hold it an extra day. The second thing is, you can ask them, hey, can I overnight there? And then you get them talking. Yeah, you can overnight here. We've actually got a spot in the back. It's a safe neighborhood. Everybody parks back there. This is where you get into making the extra money. It's a low percentage win, and that's why I think a lot of guys don't do it. We're talking, let's say you do 5-6 loads a week. It might only work out 1 out of every 10 or 15 loads. Okay, so once to twice a month, this works out for you. So you talk to somebody, you're talking to the owner, you tell them, hey, I've got 7 to 3 here. I guess I'll be there tomorrow. And if you would just hang up then, that would be in they would say, okay, you're going to be here tomorrow. In their head, you're delivering tomorrow. Everything's fine. You're not doing anything wrong, but you're missing out on some potential free money. And here's what I mean. When you say, you know what, my GPS says I'm going to be there at 6 o'clock tonight. Any way to get unloaded tonight? Especially when you're dealing with a smaller shop, maybe you're talking to the owner. He's the one unloading you. Now his wheels are turning and he's thinking, wait a minute. If I can unload this at 6 o'clock tonight, that benefits me. Why? Because it's going to take me about an hour to unload this stuff. I don't have to pay guys $25 an hour to stand around and watch me unload this before they can start using it for whatever reason we ordered it for. So they start thinking, oh yeah, you know what? I only live 5 miles from the shop. I'll tell you what, you get here tonight, you call me, I'll meet you and unload you. Now, if you're not used to doing this, you're probably watching this and going, so what? You're unloaded at 5-6 o'clock at night. You're not getting any freight at that time of night. Big deal. You didn't do anything for yourself. Here's what you did. By getting empty that night, you make yourself available for an extra load the next day. There are some people who will not give you a load unless you are empty that morning. Some people have a priority load and they need to make sure you get it there the same day. Some people just have a short load. It's not necessarily priority, but it's only going 180 miles. It's paying $500, but you can pick it up at 6 a.m. the next day. What does that mean? That means if you made your phone calls and you talk to the receiver and you know for sure you're getting empty Monday night, then Tuesday, you or your dispatcher can promise your truck to be 100 miles down the road or wherever this next pickup is at 6 a.m. You pick that up at 6 a.m., you drive it 3 hours down the road, you unload it for $500. Now you're empty before noon and you've got the opportunity to put another $1,000, $1,200 on your truck. That's where the real money comes in. I've got guys that make their phone calls and let everyone know exactly what page they need to be on, and they do a great job of it, and it literally pays for the vehicle that their wife drives. It's like having a free car. It pays for a brand new minivan. The guys that just call and say, hey, I got a piece of freight, I'll deliver it in the morning. Okay, fine. Everybody's fine with that. They don't get that extra load or two a month that make them that extra money. It's free money. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't mean you have to drive any extra hours. You're not even really working any extra hours. It's just communication. The other thing it does, when it doesn't make you money actively, it saves you money. And here's why. When I tell people to call the receiver to let them know when they'll be there, you have no idea what they've been told. A lot of brokers will under promise and over deliver. So the broker will say, look, receiver, I can't promise that the freight will be there before Wednesday. People hear a word in their head, Wednesday, and they've got a million things going on in their own life, their personal life, and all they remember is that freight's coming Wednesday. That freight's coming Wednesday. They may not have any idea you're going to be there Monday night or Tuesday morning. If you call them and let them know that, they can adjust. Here's the other thing. The timing of the call is of utmost importance. If you wait till you're done driving at night and try to call people at 5, 6 o'clock at night, they're not there. Freight works generally from 7 to 3. So here's what I recommend everybody do to make this extra $10,000 free dollars a year. It's 10 grand for free. When you're getting loaded up on Monday morning for that piece of freight that's going to deliver Tuesday morning, while you're waiting, while they're loading your truck, you call that receiver and you say, hey, this is Brock from Straight Line Delivery. I'm loading up with your freight. And they'll go, okay, what is it? Or, oh, that's great. I wasn't sure when it was coming. Yeah, as a matter of fact, my GPS says I'll be there at 5 or 6 o'clock tonight. Can I park in your driveway? Yeah, you can park there. Is there any way you'd want this tonight? It'd help me out. And they'll go, oh, wait, yeah, absolutely. We want it as soon as we can get it. Well, that's great. They're thrilled because they're getting super fast delivery on something they weren't sure they were going to get until Wednesday. So a lot of times, like I said, it's once to twice a month. I've looked back over some of the records, and the guys that do this, they're making $8,000 to $10,000 more a year than the guys that aren't. It also saves you from, when you make that phone call before you even get loaded, this has happened before too, and this is a big, big save. You go, well, you don't have the right address. I know you're picking up in Chicago and you're bringing it to Cleveland, but we're not actually at that site. We're going to be over here. We wanted this delivered to our job site. Or we don't have a way to deliver that or unload that. I just had this happen last week. Called a guy. Freight was paying good. The shipper, the receiver, everybody knew what they were talking about. But I called the receiver and I started to get this funny vibe that maybe they weren't really that professional. They didn't unload freight every day. They weren't sure what was going on. So I asked them, do you have a forklift? No, I got to get one. I'm like, okay, you have to show me a rental agreement before I'm going to put this on my truck. They hadn't rented a forklift. They had no idea where to rent a forklift or how to drive it once they rented it. They had no idea what they were doing. If I would have loaded that piece of freight and taken it down there, I would have sat all day, maybe 2 days, doing nothing. So not only am I not making the extra money like we talked in the example before, I'm losing money because their freight is stuck on my truck all day. So guys, anybody who's watching this video, if you implement this strategy, I promise you, you'll have less frustration, which is worth a lot to me, and you'll make more money. Who doesn't want free money?